Hey guys, welcome to part 1 of the Marksmanship Hunter YouTube guide. I'm trying a new format of guides where I break up the guide into multiple small videos. Hopefully it's a bit easier to comprehend and find information, and it should be easier on my end to update information more quickly. So this is part 1 of the guide, and in this video we're going to cover stats, recommended trinkets, and my advice on what Azerite traits to aim for. I just wanted to start out saying that to accurately find the exact stats and optimal setup for your character, you should always 100% sim yourself. Stats and gear will be different for everyone, especially with the Titan Forge system. You can do this by heading over to raidbots.com where you can easily sim your character for stats or do a top gear sim to find your best setup. In general, you're going to want mastery above all else for marksmanship. Haste, crit, and verse are all sort of equal in terms of secondaries and will change greatly depending on your gear. For single target, haste tends to be a bit better, and for AoE, crit tends to be a bit better than haste, and versatility is sort of neutral between AoE and single target. In terms of gearing, you really just want pieces with mastery on them as much as possible. We also have a couple Azerite traits that change the value of our stats, namely in the rhythm and unerring vision, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Again, the best method for finding what's best for you is to head over to raidbots.com and sim yourself. Next, let's talk about what trinkets you're going to want to aim for. Unfortunately, the raid trinkets aren't amazing this tier, but a couple of them are usable. Kimball's Razor Claw is pretty good in pure single target situation, but falls off pretty hard in AoE. So for raid, it's really good, but for Mythic Plus dungeons, it's not really that great. The variable intensity gigavolt oscillating reactor, wow, that's a mouthful, from Mechatort can be good if it's really high Titan forged, but in general, it's not really that great, and it takes a lot of effort to manage for very, very little reward. The trinkets we really want to aim for come from Mythic dungeons, similar to last tier. Galecaller's Boon is a huge trinket for Marksmanship Hunters, since it lines up with every true shot for us. We also want a Harlan's Loaded Dice, and then the lustrous golden plume from King's Rest and the PvP on use trinkets are very solid options for us. Once again, you should always sim yourself to find out what the best setup is for you, as it may not be the best for someone else. But in general, these are the trinkets you want to aim for. Alright, so now let's get into Azerite traits. Here is a general sim from Blood Mallet, which shows the best traits using particular set of gear. In general, you're going to want to aim for In the Rhythm, Unerring Vision, Treacherous Covenant, Focus Fire, and Surging Shots, sort of like the sim indicates. Um, Let me talk a little bit more about the traits though. In the Rhythm is an excellent trait in single target and really smooths out our true shot windows. Since it gives you a pretty good chunk of haste with every rapid fire, your passive haste is probably going to be a bit lower since you don't really need as much haste since this trait gives you that haste. At the very least, I highly recommend getting one of these traits. Ideally, you want two. Three of these traits isn't bad, but it starts to fall off compared to some other traits. You just don't need that much haste, and obviously, haste has diminishing returns, so having too much haste actually can be a bad thing. In the Rhythm also falls off in AoE, since in general, we don't really need too much haste for our AoE rotation. But even in Mythic Plus, In the Rhythm is still an excellent, excellent trait to have. Unerring Vision is also an awesome trait that makes our true shot windows hit extremely hard. Having three of these traits basically gives you 100% crit during true shot, although it's no longer recommended to have three. Generally, two of these traits is good enough, and some people only need one depending on their setup. Similar to In the Rhythm, if you have very high crit, passively, you're probably not going to want too many unerring vision, probably just one. If you don't have that much crit, you're probably going to want more unerring vision. And so this trait really changes how much crit you want. Unlike in the rhythm, unerring vision is great in both single target and in AoE situations, so it's a highly sought after trait. Treacherous Covenant is also a great trait. It gives you a ton of passive agility and is great in both single target and AoE. This is an excellent trait to get for pure damage purposes, but it's a bit risky as you take increased damage below 20% HP. This trait is also only active while you are above 50% health. With most fights and standard healing, most people hover around 90% uptime, give or take, on this trait. Raidbots actually has an option where you can change the uptime of this trait when simming yourself, so I highly recommend using 90% for an accurate estimate on how much this trait actually will benefit you. Next, focus fire is also a great trait, especially in AoE. The extra focus gained from rapid fire helps smooth out the end of your true shot windows, allowing you to get an additional cast and without having to cast steady shot towards the end. Focus fire is also one of our best traits in AoE. At least one of these traits is recommended for both single target and AoE. The second and third copies of focus fire aren't super great since the only thing that stacks is the additional damage from rapid fire, not the additional focus gained. But if you're doing Mythic Plus, the second trait of Focus Fire isn't bad. Finally, Surging Shots is the last trait we really want to aim for. You only need one of these, and it's not really necessary, but it makes our Rapid Fire hit pretty hard. It also gives us a chance to get a reset on Rapid Fire after casting Aim Shot, which is very nice for Focus Regen. Be careful on pressing your rapid fire button twice directly after casting an aim shot, as the reset is slightly delayed from casting that aim shot. So if you hit your rapid fire button directly after an aim shot and then you hit it again, you could use the proc that you just got from the reset. So you don't want to do that. So don't hit it twice. Like a focus fire, Surging Shots is decent in single target, but is one of our best traits in AoE, especially when paired with Streamline. I'll talk a bit more about Streamline usage in the Talents video later in this series. So after talking about all these traits, the ideal setup you want to aim for is 2 Unerring Vision, 2 in the Rhythm, 1 Focus Fire, and 1 Surging Shots. The setup is excellent for both single target and AoE. For Mythic Plus purposes, you may want to sub out an In the Rhythm for a Treacherous Coven or another Focus Fire, but it's not a huge difference either way. It's really nice that this is the ideal setup for both single target and AoE, so there isn't much changing around traits in that regard. Alright guys, that wraps up part 1 of the series. Check back for part 2 where I talk about the Marksmanship Hunter talents. Just to let you know my plans, I plan on doing the talent video, a single target rotation video, and an AoE rotational video. Further down the road, I plan on doing some more Marksmanship Mythic Plus walkthrough and commentary along with a BM series similar to this one. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for more videos like this, and as always, come hang out in my Discord or on my stream on Twitch. I'm always happy to answer questions and help out. Thanks for watching, friends!